between influence and idolization with prominent figures. Some people may ask, what does prominent mean? Prominent pretty much means important or famous. So, influence. Let's talk about the difference first between influence and idolization. So, influence, for the definition, I have the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself. So, an effect or an impact. There was another definition of have an influence on, affect, have an effect on, exert influence on, control, govern. Idolization, the definition, there was only one when I looked it up, so out of the two, the first one, influence, had two definitions. Idolization, only one. So excessive adoration of or devotion to a person, worship, idolatry. How do you ladies feel about that? Do you think that there's more of idolization in today's era over influence, or more influence versus idolization?
I think that people would say that maybe it's influence, but really things or people have become idols. I think like you read the two definitions, but they're so close. Well, they're similar, and you see that there's more to define in terms of influence. Idol is just that you're worshiping something else, and you make that thing your God. You make that thing prominent more than anything else. So I think people blur that line so much that they don't really realize that they're idolizing something that should maybe just influence them.
Okay. Marcella?
And with influence, you're looking at, you're not, it's not a copycat. So, for example, if you see someone that's in business and you like the strategies that they use to get themselves to wealth, then some of those ways you will probably utilize to get yourself on the path to get to wealth, versus someone who looks at Forbes or look at someone who is a prominent figure in the rap industry and say, well, they're wealthy, I want to be just like them, and they emulate everything that that person does. So that's how I would determine it. And I truly believe that today, some of our youth may be leaning more towards the idolization than the influence, because they're not necessarily taught the difference between the two.
Now, if there is it because of image, or do you think if it's what they feel that's what they want to become, as far as the careers, or just for what they see, just for appearance?
I think now, like, for example, if you look at the music industry right now, and our youth, you know, they may like the music, they might like the look of all the things that are showing wealth for them, to our youth. And they say, you know, I want to be just like that, or a sports figure. Our teens may say, you know, I want to be just like that particular sports figure. And not knowing that behind the scene, there is some discipline and things that they have to put in place to get to that ultimate point. So, you know, that idolization part can become very strong for the youth if they're not shown, okay, this person is here, but it just magically happened for them to get to this point. So they're idolizing where that person is right now, thinking this is a magical way of getting there, not knowing that there's a process.
You said an important word, image. And image deals with, you know, how a thing is perceived, how it may look versus how it really is. I think you spoke to that something like, it looks good, they look rich, they look wealthy, but the reality is a lot of that stuff is rented. So they fall for the image, the allure, thinking that it's something that it's not. That's the most dangerous part, because then you put all this worth on something that is false or fake.
Okay, Elder?
Yes, in today's society, I really believe a lot of it is idolization, because as Lavelle said, you know, the image of everything just shiny, glitz, glam, you know, these nice cars, you know, all these type of things, but the people really don't have any substance, you know. I mean, even when you listen to the music, you know, that a lot of people are singing and stuff today, it's just no substance. It's just the world that we live in today. Sex, money, drugs, you know what I'm saying, women, you know, or men, or both, whatever, together. You understand what I'm saying? So, yes, I think there's a lot of idolization. Me personally, I mean, it's unfortunate that I can't say that there's a prominent figure that I could look up to say that, you know, yeah, I just don't see it, and, you know.
All right.
before, you know,
Yeah.
outside of that.
Now, is it more of the lifestyle that prominent figures are giving off, like what they're portraying, or like some put out everything, not everything. Well, some you have put out everything on social media. Some limit what they put out. They may show pictures but not show any videos. They may put up little statements, might type something and post it versus a video or a picture. Do you think it's more of what people are saying or what they're living?
No, it's what they're living, because you don't find a lot of people with character, with integrity, with morals, with, when I say substance, I mean foundation. I mean, this is a Christian talk show, so I'm going to talk about godly foundation.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I mean, even, you know, in today's society, a lot of, you know, the ministers and evangelists and stuff like that that you look up to, you know, you hear about them, you know, falling and all type of things happen, you know, and we're all human. You understand what I'm saying? But some stuff just don't need to be in the public eye. Some things you just don't need to say. You need to keep to yourself. The Word of God say we all fall short. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm I'm not going to tell you my business, because I don't want to make you stumble. You understand what I'm saying? But they call it confession, but is it really sincere? Do you understand what I'm saying? Especially when you have habitual, repetitive behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you was here last week, dude. You know what I'm saying? You sleeping with another woman on your wife? Like, you know, how many times you going to say sorry to your congregation? You know what I'm saying? Just simple things like that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, well, you know, nobody's perfect, don't get me wrong, but there has to be a standard, especially when it comes to the kingdom of God. You know what I'm saying? It has to be.
You made a good point about substance. Like, you know, if you spoke about the Bible, but in that context, like when they worship idols, they were graven images. They had the appearance of something. But our God is a living God. So he has substance. And I think that the graven image, the look of the thing, the appearance is what's so alluring to people. And in some cases attainable. Like you talked about, some people put so much out there. So you showed us, you know, yourself from head to toe. People can mimic your look. People can mimic your appearance, your fashion. But that's just your outer. We don't really know the substance of that person. And because you lead so much with the appearance or the physical, it's really covering up what's really at the root or underneath that. And people just fall for the outside, the appearance. It looks good, it looks pretty, it looks wealthy, but there's so much behind that, underneath that substance that we don't really know.
And I heard somebody say that the problem in today's church world, I'm talking about the kingdom government, is that people character can't handle the light. You know what I'm saying? Like your character ain't elevated to this light that you're trying to get into. You understand what I'm saying? So you go ahead and you jump out there, and then when you jump out there, you get your knees cut off, and now you're a little low. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So we just have to be ever so careful, you know, that we be in an example, and we be in a living epistle read among men, and not just want people to see that, oh, God can bless you with a house. Oh, God can bless you with a car. Oh, God can bless you with money. Yeah, he can do those things, because the Bible said cattle on 1,000 hills he owned. But what's your heart set up like? What's your mind set up like? You know what I'm saying? Do you have any dignity to, you know what I'm saying, your walk, to the way you live it? You know what I'm saying? Are you checking yourself, examining yourself every day, saying, okay, God, what Saffron need to work on today in her? You understand what I'm saying? Because I could tell Chiquita, you know, God bless me, he did this for me, you know, and of course he's doing those things, you know what I'm saying? But if I don't have any substance, what's that? You know what I'm saying? He said, only what you do for Christ will last. Everything else will perish. It will go away.
All right, so being in the kingdom, like I don't have a church background. Like I don't have a family history of elders, pastors, ministers going down the line who came before me. So I was pretty new to it. I've been to church. Like my mother took me to church, but we weren't church grown. So coming in, it's like what I see is, this is the influence. First, they're going to influence me. I'm going to be influenced by what I see coming in as a beginner, a new Christian. Keita, do you feel like there's a higher standard of what the kingdom should portray to newcomers or new Christians? Or do you feel like you're just getting, like, once somebody comes in to learn, if they're really coming for God and for Christ, do you feel like they should hold this high standard of, oh, they should give this image, they should give that image, they should portray more of how to. Is it more of what you hear, like when you hear about Christ, when you hear about the kingdom? Is it more of, okay, I'm coming because this is what I'm thinking I'm getting from what I've heard about Christ, what I've heard about the disciples?
Well, well, I just wanted to elaborate on something. Well, the first perception is everything. So when you
Right.
see something, it's what you see first, okay, right? But because we're kingdom, it shouldn't be we're working from the outside in. We should be working from the inside out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because God says, you know what I'm saying, if our hearts and stuff is right, there's no good thing he's going to withhold from us. You know what I'm saying? If I keep my mind on him, he going to keep me in perfect peace. So I'm getting all these blessings because I'm working from the inside out and not the outside in. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody done had a couple dollars before. I hope anyway, a few. Income tax. But I'm just saying, everybody know that money, the Bible say money answereth all things. But if you get into the meat of that scripture, he was really being sarcastic, to, you know what I'm saying, to tell the truth. However, you know, it doesn't solve all problems, you know.
And they make you happy a little bit.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but do you feel like there's a more positive impact on today's, like, this modern era? Do the church have a more positive impact in, like, the church leaders, spiritual leaders?
I do and I don't because like a lot of people, like, they hold us Christians to certain standards. So if we supposed to be Christians, but then they see us out doing everything they doing, you know what I'm saying, they not Christians, then they look at them like, well, why should I go to church if you know, if you're acting like that? Or, you know, like, I guess the question is, like, what makes you a Christian? Like, how are you different from me? You know what I'm saying? I don't.
That's what goes through some
because
people's
when
mind.
I first came, like, I, like, say if, like, you're an elder somebody, and I expect you to be this, yeah, be like, you know,
Because
when you see me, you speak to me, you show me love, like,
Right.
you're always in good spirits. But if I'm an outsider walking in, and you an elder, and you don't even want to speak to me, or you got your nose turned up at me, I'm looking at you like, so why are you an elder? Like, if you don't even know how to handle me or deal with me, like, why do you even got that title? You know what I'm saying? When you still like me.
So that would bring on a negative impact, not knowing. But what if they were just ordained as an elder? They don't even know how to handle how to uphold the title yet, and they're still learning.
Do they have
But
to
she
accept
don't know
it?
that.
Yeah, do
Right.
I know it? I don't know it. I mean, I just know you pastor, elder, but I know when I walk in, you don't even speak to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just walk around like somebody did something to you. Like, so it's just like, when it's time for you to pray for me, and I come to now you want to talk to me, but when I walk through those doors, you look me up and down, or, you know what I'm saying, you don't even speak to me, but now you want to pray for me. I don't receive you.
So that's more of a negative impact
Yeah,
on.
can I answer her question? She
Go
was
ahead.
saying, you know, they say, well, what is the difference between us and the world? We have an advocate. We have a mediator. You know what I'm saying, for our sins. We're looking for eternity. You understand what I'm saying? We're looking for heaven on earth. And that's a promise that we get because we're king's kids versus the world. They don't have it. You know what I'm saying? They haven't accepted Jesus as their Lord and Savior. So, you know what I'm saying? They don't
But
have
back
it.
to what you were saying, like, you know, the impression versus just coming in off the street and then getting to be churched and see the things in the church. It's a process. I think, you know, seeing some people in leadership or seeing, you know, a man or woman of God lead you, preach the gospel to you, kind of draws you in. And then you do see other people, how they practice their Christian walk. And some things, you eat the meat and spit out the bone. Like, you have to learn right away. Like, some people are legitimate. They're really, you know, living Christian principles, and some people are not. That's why, you know, it's important, you know, as a new beginner or someone, a novice coming into Christ, yes, accept him, but then you get to learn him for yourself. You know, we ascribe to follow, you know, we follow Christ. That's it. And until you can get those muscles up where you can start feeding yourself and learning, you do have leaders that are instituted. You do have people who you can model and fall behind, not idolize, not copy, but who can teach you those principles. And I think it's a matter of really looking and seeing what people are up to and if they're really legitimate in their walk.
Okay, so I want to kind of switch gears and jump to outside of the church. I'll say outside of the church with celebrities, actors and actresses, singers, athletes. Do you feel that they have the most influence on today's generation?
I do. I think a lot of the young kids nowadays idolize like the rappers
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, and like they're influenced by the things that they say. So that's why you have like a lot of crime or a lot of this, a lot of that going on. Um, so like, yeah, they have a big influence on our youth.
Why more so the rappers versus the athletes?
Because it's like they got everything that they want. You know what I'm saying? Like in today's generation, like they have the cars, they got the money, they got the women or the girls, or rappers, they rap about guns and all that other stuff. And believe it or not, like society, like these kids look up to stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, but they do. So, I mean, it bothers me when I see kids like listening to the music about shooting somebody, killing somebody, this and the other. And I'm like, do you like really hear what they saying? But you rapping this and you really ain't about that life. You know what I'm saying? So they got this impact on our generation, and to me, it's kind of making our generation like worse.
Okay.
And it seems like the rappers and the singers and stuff is a little bit more flamboyant than the athletes. And I think, even like on social media, you hear more about rappers and video chicks and, stuff like that than you do about athletes.
Right.
I mean, usually if I hear something about an athlete, it's usually not about a car or a house. You usually hear about how they're doing something for a foundation or something like that. So I think that is a positive, but I think the entertainment business is out there in the forefront, especially on social media,
Yeah.
And
which is raising a lot of our kids these days.
And is that more of idolization or influence?
I don't know.
Idolization.
But what I was going to say, if I could piggyback on what Elder Saffron and Shakita was saying, with the youth, as they are looking at these things and they're listening to the music, they're just listening to the beat. That's all they know is that beat. That's a catchy beat. But it takes leaders like ourselves to say, well, wait a minute. Some of the lyrics in that song is not appropriate, or some of those lyrics are not going to get you or help you to be successful. And if you redirect their vision, Pastor said something that was very intricate today, in terms of as our leader, if we are emulating or modeling ourselves and following the crown, the doctrines, and the things that he's setting the tone for the vision that he has for the church, and if we're following that, then we can't falter, we can't go off. But as soon as we turn away and lose track of where he's going and the direction for where he's going, then you fall off track and then the vision is lost. So we have to do the same thing with the youth in terms of the influence and idolization. We need to get them back to understanding we need to be back on a track of influence. You can look at the nice cars that they have, the money that they have, the women, but where's that going to lead? Where's that going to get you? And making sure they understand the things they need to do and the things that they need to have in place so that the influence will lead them in the right direction. And it's not just about being idle.
See, I
Go
think
ahead.
different celebrities do different things. So we talked about rappers and music to a degree, but a lot of rappers out now will tell you, "Oh, I only been doing this less than a year. Oh, I'm doing this because I want to get the bag." Like it's not the same caliber or quality of
Right.
artistry that was put out formerly in hip hop. So when people see that, they say this is a quick way to get a bag. I think that when you see athletes with them in order to attain contracts, whatever, they have to put in a little bit more work.
Right.
So unless that person really wants that work ethic, they want that bigger bag, those millions of dollars of contracts, then they're not going to be willing to do that. So if someone has that aspiration to get that amount of money, they may, discipline themselves, become that kind of athlete. Actresses, beauty standards, from everything from appearance to fashion, they, draw people in that aspect. I think all of them, celebrities, athletes, rappers, all have different, different audiences that they're pulling.
You know who kind of shocked me a little bit? Can we say the celebrity name?
No. I would leave the name out, but you can.
Let me just say CB. Can I say that? Anyway. Yeah. So this person had this certain lifestyle, but then when they became famous, how can I say it? When they became famous, they didn't dress dressing was different. Like they used to dance. But when you see this person, they're always covered up and look real classy. So that kind of like shocked me a little bit because of your background. You know how some people think because of your background, what's the word? What I'm trying to say? I would expect her dress a certain type of way.
Okay.
That she should
But she's like always covered and she be looking good. You know what I'm saying? So she kind of shocked me. I like her.
And I think something else that's confusing in regards to what Lavelle was saying, maybe Marcella, I'm due, sorry, I forget. However, us as parents, us as aunts, uncles, families, what I see is that we make like working a job is a negative.
It is. No, I'm joking.
You know what I'm saying? We make like it's a negative. And for me, I'm teaching my kids, work is good. You have to work. The Bible say if you don't work, you don't eat. So they make like getting a job is not the way to go. No, you can get money on a job if you earn it.
Right.
You know, or you need to be some great entrepreneur and do your own thing. Yeah, but that's not for everybody. Everybody is not going to make it like that. You're not going to wake up one day with this great grand idea to create a bacon super zapper and be a millionaire. No, you know what I'm saying? Reality is you work for what you want, you go to work, you might not be able to get it all at one time, but you will get it gradually, but it will come. You know what I mean?
But today's kids, I think they want it just like that.
Yep.
They want fast money. Why? Because they are idolizing these people who talking about hustling, getting money, this and another. So they kind of like they want it right then. They want to work, but they want fast money.
But I think that's because we make it look hard. You know, if I'm complaining every day to my kids, I don't want to go to this job. I hate this job. I'm only doing this to feed y'all. I'm only doing this to this. No, I love my job, and this job about to make me great. You understand what I'm saying? I can't wait till Christmas comes so I can get my money. And I can't wait till anniversary comes because they're going to give me a 10-year or something. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, I know there's more for me, and I know God's going to give me more. But I'm enjoying this, baby, and we eat good. You ain't missed the meal, we eat good. All the bills paid, we eat good. You know?
See, that goes to substance because like what you said before, you know, God can bless you and give you all these things.
Yeah.
But my thought was like if you don't have the character to maintain it, those things are easily gone. The
Right.
same thing
So whether you get it
what it
fast or
takes
slow.
work ethic
Yeah.
to be on a job more than 90
Right.
days. To stay there and endure season in, season out. When you have a manager you like or dislike, you know, that's not something we do promote. And the character that it takes to walk that path versus the instant gratification
Absolutely.
is something that definitely you could stand to build, and that's the substance.
Right.
Yeah, and the idolization come from us, you know, we buying things or getting indebted for things that we know we can't afford. You know what I'm saying? My husband with a Mercedes 550 something. No, we can't afford that right now. Not yet. We're gonna get it, but not yet. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if I get that and I'm struggling, now my relationship is miserable. We're getting deeper in debt. I'm just saying I was using that as an example, but I'm just saying that's not reality for me right now. Reality is my Toyota Matrix. That's my reality, and I'm gonna drive it and it's paid for.
Right.
Right, but you see that because you have substance. You're not concerned with the graven image or how it might appear to other people, or that you can influence other people to go and get one because you know you and your man have one. It looks you know like something.
That's what I'm saying. We got to teach.
And the character that says, wait a minute, not now. Let me wait for the appointed season to do that. Let me save some more. Let me manage what I have now. You know, those kind of choices.
That's something like relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like you see like public figures, like people will look up to Beyonce and Jay-Z and just think that their marriage was just so perfect until it came out that he was cheating and all this other stuff. So like I used to be like that. I used to see like, dang, like I just want somebody to love me like he loved her. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing the struggle that they had to go through just to get to where they are.
Now, would you consider that an idolization or an influence?
An idolization because she don't know their personal inside.
Right.
So, like I said, money makes everything look good.
Right.
The coins, zeros make everything look. The ugliest dude. Oh, honey, he gonna look. Oh, honey, girl, he was put together, but ugly. But
I wasn't supposed
money.
to say the name.
I'm just don't worry about it. I'm just saying the money. You know what I'm saying? Money makes everything look good. You know what I'm saying?
And the Bible say, my blessings make you rich and add no sorrow. So when we get things the way we're supposed to get them and take our time, you don't have to idolize people and look at what you think they got, because you don't know their struggle. You don't know what their credit digits look like. You don't know if they cell phone and boo-boo name. Like, you know what I'm saying? You really don't know their story. You're just looking on the outside of what it appears to be. You know what I'm saying? So idolization is not healthy at all. Now, for somebody to be an influence, to add to you, to become an asset to your character, you know what I'm saying, to your family, or in any positive way, then that's a plus. You know what I'm saying? If I see, you know what I'm saying, a couple, you know, and I know them personally, and they making it, and they walking together to agree and those type of things. No, I'm not idolizing them, but I'm like, oh, okay, it's something I can pull from. They got some substance that I can pull from.
Right. I think it's totally possible that there are those couples, whether they be on social media or, you know, mainstream media, that you see, okay, they're embodying marriage, or they're embodying family or entrepreneurship, and you can glean from them.
Right.
And it be an influence for you to strive for some of those things in your own life, but not to hold them up as the standard for it, or how to get it, or what it should look like. And if it's not like that couple, then I don't want it. He got this, she got that, so that's exactly how mine has to be. I think people can use that power for good to try to get people motivated, or to return to traditional family values, you know, men and women being married, or having a family, you know, as young millennials, or in entrepreneurship, seeing all those things in different couples, but not to mimic them or be a cookie cutter.
And I would rather, personally for myself, I would rather have someone to influence me and give me things that would build me, so that when I reach my goal, I reach that peak of my life, that I can feel good about myself, that I was able to take those things to build myself to get there, than to be an imitator and then still not be happy at the end. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, even with our youth, going back to them being influenced by
the rappers or by the sports persons, you know, showing them that yes, they are at a peak in their life, but however, this is what you need, a foundation. Like right now, some students don't feel that having a foundation in education is important. All they're doing is, okay, I'm going to practice, I'm going to go to practice, I'm going to take care of these 2 hours and perfect my skill in this particular sport. But then if something happens, what are you falling back on? What is your foundation?
And see, not a fallback, but that needs to be a part of your package.
Right.
I think that goes to almost how Saffron was saying about work, you know, making work seem like it's so hard or so difficult. No. Grow your mind while you work out. While you do those drills, you need to put the same level of energy into your schoolwork, so that you are a whole person.
Exactly.
So that you do have substance. So you aren't just good on the outside or appealing because of your stats, but there's something in your head.
Right, and
But
they
you
need
can
to,
be an influence in so many ways. I'm just
Right.
saying, as an aunt, I'm an influence.
Right.
As a sister, I'm an influence. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not just husband and wife, girlfriend, boyfriend. As, you know what I'm saying? My church friends, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. I want to be an influence. I want to be an influence all the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not just some of the times. I would just want to be mindful that people are watching me. I just want to be mindful of my reactions, you know, to certain things, my demeanor. You know what I'm saying? I want to be mindful of other people's feelings and take other people into consideration. You understand what I'm saying? Because you can be an influence in so many ways. People are watching. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People watching.
Right.
They thinking like, oh, not that they want what you got, but they like how you did that.
Right.
Oh, I like how she preached that word with grace. I know how she know them scriptures. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna study a little bit more so I can know me some scriptures, because, honey, they valuable to fight in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Not just because she doing them, but I'm just saying it's good to know a couple.
Scripture's hard to learn, though.
I know they ain't repeat.
So we've talked a lot about the influence and more idolization on the youth, but what about the adults?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna, yeah.
Serena Williams influenced me. As our, what?
So it's there are some athletes who influence you
Because I like,
in a positive way.
yeah, because I want to look a certain type of way. So when I see them, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. So what she be doing? Oh, all right, I got to do that. Yeah, so I can look like her.
Okay, well, that ain't one of my goals. I mean, I'm just saying, Pastor Tony influences me.
Right.
How he loves people, how he have a heart for people,
Right.
how he have compassion for people. And it's just not, I believe it's genuine because he's trying to learn you so I can see where it is that I need to meet you at.
Right.
Not just because you a member here, not just because you stopped by here and this what I'm supposed to do. No, he has a genuine concern for people. You know what I'm saying? So that influences me. You know what I'm saying? Because love is important. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily, judging people or, stuff like that. But love is important. That's what God is. That's what this whole thing is all about. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you influenced me.
Oh, good.
Well, she just took the words right out of my mouth because I was going to say even just like small talk and small conversation about loving more. Where's the love?
Yeah,
Show
where's
the
the
love, draw the people,
And you
draw
always
the Christ.
speak that.
Right.
And
You
you
always
talk a
speak
lot about you talk a lot about love, and it does. Even though we're in the same church, we're in the same ministry, we're not on at the same level as far as like titles or whatever. Not that matters, but the point of showing the love, being love, because God is love. That is, and I just want to tell you that you do influence. You have been a good influence on
And
me.
I just want to tell you
as
I
far
lied.
as she, I'm not messing with Shakita today. But no, seriously though, I do think outside of church, I do think about that. Even in the workplace, I'm like, okay, how can I present love more and be a better influence for the kingdom on others who see me, who come in with attitudes on the job, with out of hurt, out of anger, out of frustration, not knowing whether they coming or going.
Right.
Even through laughter. Laughter's like medicine, just bringing in joy and happiness,
Right.
and like just spreading that stuff. You can be an influence on people and not even know it. And like you say, people are watching.
People are watching.
Go ahead, Marcella.
That's the point I was gonna make as well. Like you never realize when you and your heart is critical on yourself,
Mhm.
and you think you're not at your best, and then someone comes up to you and says just that.
Yeah.
I never thought, So that's why even when you don't feel like you're there, you never know who you may be. Setting an example for being an impression or an influence.
Do you feel like you've been idolized by someone and you had to kind of switch lanes?
No, because I tell them you don't want my shoes. They too big for you to fit in.
Or let me rephrase it.
My
Has
boots
there-
too deep.
Have you ever had somebody come up to you and say, "Oh, I want to be like you. I want to go like into whatever field you're into, or I want to help somebody like you helped me." It don't always have to be
Not in a negative way.
No, yeah.
Well, it sounds a little
Yeah.
scared because I don't want to write. Don't be
Those
trying to be
stalkers,
like,
right?
only because I don't want you to have to endure all the mud I didn't walk through.
Right.
Right,
I
like
don't want
they
to
just
be like me.
they may come up and say, "I want to
Yeah.
be like you
I know what
I
you're
heard
saying.
in
somebody
this
do that to
area."
I heard it about other people.
Yeah, I heard somebody do that to me, and I was shocked.
I heard about other, and people
wanna
like,
be like
oh
me?
my goodness, I'm in awe. Oh my God,
Right.
your sister. She just, I'm like, yeah, but she's mine. But no, I'm just saying, like you never know. People are watching.
People are
Like
watching,
your
yeah.
demeanor. They trying to see if you got standards. I mean, they watching the outside appearance, your dress and stuff like that. But people are really watching, and because people have titles and stuff like that, people take it personal. If you're not showing love, if I can't get a hug, they take it personal.
Do you feel like idolization can be switched to influence?
I do.
It can be.
You hold the driver's seat of that. So the response that she would have given to the person that came to her and be like, "Oh, I just idolize you," you can switch that.
No, it wasn't me. Wait a minute.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just using it for an example. if they did, especially with her personality.
No,
she,
I'm just saying this particular person. I told her she regular. Go talk to her.
right.
She regular. Trust me, I grew up with her. She regular. Don't be scared. She regular. You know what I'm saying? But,
I think you can. You have a driver's seat. I didn't realize how long I actually have been an educator until one of my students that I taught when my very first year of teaching, who's now an adult, came to me and said, because of what you taught me, because of the affirmation you taught us back then, that helped me to get to where I am now, as president of Virginia. So, that
what, you did a great thing by what you were teaching us.
Yeah.
All right. You
Yeah,
know what?
and I told them, I said, you want to be like her? I said, she spent good money on her clothes. I don't know cheap. So,
But even in, there's a way to turn around. I see what she's doing, saying, take the onus off of yourself. And make it so clear that it's no goodness of my own. Like some of the things you might be pointing out, or the person may say, oh, I like the way you do this and do that. Coach them. Like, no, you can do it too. This not magic. Some of it is disciplines or different things that we may have learned or had other people teach us. And some of the same things are accessible to you. Spiritually, people are, no, you can have that relationship too, and God can show you who you are to Him, help you to walk more deeply in your purpose. Not that you have to mimic another's anointing, but like, no, it's accessible. Oh, I want to work at such and such. Cool. This is what you do. Study hard. Prep for interviews. Have those conversations. Find a business mentor. Like it's practical stuff that people can do instead of just assuming, oh, you just came out of the sky like that.
Now you mentioned, you want to say something?
Yeah. The funny thing about it is that I just had this conversation with myself. It's like I got to start changing my ways because, like, I'm about to have a baby and I'm having a girl, right? So I'm like, dang, I got to change that. I can't act like that because she's going to look up to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to influence her by the things that I do. So now I'm just like, I can't. No, I'm just ain't going to say that. I'm like, it's just a lot of stuff that I can't do no more. Like, dang, I got to mature. I don't want to, though.
yeah, but that's good what Lavelle said. Definitely in the kingdom, we can be influencers, because how pastors assign people mentors and stuff like that. So, and they want to know, oh, how you pray like that, how you this like that, how you do like that. You know what I'm saying? The more I die to myself, you know what I'm saying, the more He grow me up. The more I move Saffron out the way, the more He can move through me. You know what I'm saying? He can move in me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The more I get the selfishness out, then God will, you know what I'm saying, do His part, and things like that.
But I thought it was okay to be selfish with yourself.
No. Like what? What you talking about?
I don't know, I'm just talking.
Like buy you something to get your check?
Yeah. Like, don't buy the kids nothing.
Now I know we have a lot of mentors and mentees in the church. What about outside? So on the workplace, you may have a mentor and a mentee. Do you think some people look at that as idolization
No, that's definite. Like,
and kind of get it confused?
don't. But a lot of times, in order to get to another place, especially in a foreign land, whether it be in business, if you work in a hospital, if you work in education, like you need somebody who's walked that way in order to help you navigate. You don't know it all. Everything isn't in books or websites. Some of it you have to glean. You have to build relationships to get there. You can't do it alone.
Right. And then like in the workplace, my ultimate goal is to be nice, to be genuine, to show love to this God that I say I serve, because they might not be saved.
Right.
They might not know my God. So being the influence that they would want to know my God, that's more important than in here, because we all supposed to have relationship, and most of us are already saved or, trying or going to get saved, whatever. I mean, we've made a decision to come this far, to this edifice, to do whatever. But I'm just saying, like, on the job, that's a whole nother ball game. You know what I'm saying? Of how you can be. I definitely don't think it's idolization, but influence, definitely. You can or cannot be.
Right.
You
You
know?
always want to be drawing.
Yeah.
And sometimes, people can't always put their finger on
What it
what
is
that
about
thing
you.
is
Oh,
about
Right.
you, but it'll draw them. And
Absolutely.
in those times, or when that the Holy Spirit gives you an opening, it's Christ that makes the difference. How did you spot that error? Because the Holy Ghost would not let me. Something made me look over it. But explaining to people like, no, I'm only here because God put me
did this.
here.
Right.
Yeah.
I had that happen to me when I first started working this one job, right? I was going to reading my Bible and stuff, sitting at the lunch table. But then one day this girl made me cuss, right?
And you felt like you were sharing.
Yeah, and I felt like I couldn't read my Bible no more, so I just didn't read it because I cussed. So she was like, "You ain't Christian."
You should have kept reading it and let her know.
I I did. I kept reading it, and then I read my Bible. I had cussed out, and then I read my Bible.
Well, thank God that you kept reading the Bible and you
Right,
continuing to grow, Keita. Continuing to grow, and you're going to be a positive influence.
Right.
It showed her that God forgives.
Right.
And just keep
God
on
forgive,
keep
and I don't.
on reading.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, but God is good, but especially for our families and our children, stuff like that, we're the influence. You know what I'm saying? Whether you think you are or not, everybody,
Yeah.
I believe everybody has an influence to
Right.
somebody, whether it's your child,
Yep.
your spouse, a best friend, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Whatever it is, you can or will become an influence.
Yeah, whether there's
By
a
your
negative
words.
Right.
or good.
Let me ask you
And
this.
And your
actions, too, I
actions.
mean.
Yeah.
Let me
More
ask you
so your
this.
actions.
Do you think that men are more easily influenced than women or the other way around?
No, I
Or is
think
there
women
no?
are.
I think
I'm just
women.
stereotyping. I think women are.
Women on.
Why is it?
Cause Sam said it.
Is she?
And Shallow and Patty.
Okay.
Not all of them.
But see, I think
Most of them. Not just like that.
but it depends on how you try to influence them. I
Right.
think
That's
the
what I-
man is going to be drawn more by the eye, and a woman is going to be drawn more by what's said.
Exactly.
Good
Not a eye.
example.
good.
Good example.
That is
Can it go the other way though?
It can. It can. But predominantly, the man is going to be drawn by what he sees. A woman is going to be drawn by what you say.
Okay.
I'm drawn by what I see.
Now, what about the type of mentality people have? Or do you think one culture can be more?
Influential than others.
Yes. Now, is it because of standards? Is it because
It's
of
the I think it's the money.
okay?
I think it's the money. From my perspective, I see it as it's from the money.
So you're saying money has a big impact
Yeah,
on
people want money.
influence.
People want things.
Yeah.
Today, that's all you hear people talk about, money.
That's-
and
Well,
things.
not really, because I would choose love over money any day. Love and respect over money any day. But that's it. Like even like in a relationship, like I really don't care about your money. I'd rather for you to treat me a certain
But
type
that
of
comes
way.
with maturity.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That comes with maturity. Some women say, I got my own money. I don't need your money.
That's
I
right.
just
Right.
Right. I just
Right.
need you to act
But
right.
some people want money because they want to be rescued. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People want things is what people gravitate to these days.
I believe it depends, like you were saying, I believe it depends on your environment. So
Okay.
if you are in the midst of people who are making 6 figures plus, you understand what I'm saying? Then you want to strive for that. But if you're in an environment of someone who's on the same level as you, then that's not about the money. It's about maybe the relationship, or as Keita said, the love. So I think it really has to do with where
Where the person
the
is.
person is.
Yeah,
Where the
that's true.
person is.
And see, I see something different. I would say even more so, money means something, love means something. Most people want power.
Yeah, that's the
and
word.
people want
That is
the ability to go in and out and control the lives and ways of others. People want access, the ability to get into places, to know and to see what other people may know or other information that might be restricted to them. Those things, I think, are sometimes even more influential than money.
All right.
knowledge is power.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today. And one thing I want to put out there is think about how you influence others and who influenced you. What influences you? Don't go anywhere. Well, actually, you can go somewhere because we're going to end the show. But tune in. Make sure you tune in next week because next week, Man Up will be here. They may have a different topic. You never know what they're going to say. But this is Let's Talk with Victory. We hope that you've drawn something from what we said to apply to your life, and whether it be how to be an influence, what not to let influence you, what you want to move to, who you want to like gravitate to kind of like not idolize them, but pull something from them that can influence you to grow and be an influence to others. That's all we have for today. Until next time, bye-bye.
I got something else to say. Say bye.